Well, good evening, my brothers and sisters. How are you doing this beautiful evening? We're about to approach the weekend, Lord willing. Come on in to the dinner table because you know I have some good food for the soul, my brothers and sisters. When you get in and sit down, scoot over a little bit so some more visitors may have opportunity to sit in and have some of this good soul food with us. I hope that you all had a good day, my brothers and sisters. Your brother Tony, he had an excellent, blessed, and day of fulfillment. I can tell you, I was excellent, blessed with a sense of serenity, a touch or twist of serenity. With that said, my brothers and sisters, um, I hope that all went well. And by the way, go ahead and invite some more family members and friends to the dinner table. We got a whole bunch of room at the dinner table, and you know we got a whole lot of soul food. Okay. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationship basically from a spiritual point of view. And when I say spiritual, I believe strongly that God is the one that created the relationship. He created the relationship between that of a man and a woman. And I get that from the book of Genesis. If you have another alternative view of how relationship supposed to be, you have a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. But I choose to do it from God's point of view, and it's documented in the book of Genesis. That's where I come from. And if you're coming into the dinner table, my brother and sister, you will get some good soul food. And how you doing, Sister Flo Harvey Martin? How you doing, my brothers and sisters? As you come in, uh, you can speak to other brothers and sisters because we're family here. By the way, I'm on two different platforms. I'm on the Tube and I'm on the book. If you're on the book, I may make some comments to those that are on the Tube. You may not see their comments, but they're family, okay? And I will call out their name and say basically what they said, okay? And on the reverse, if you're on the Tube and I call out someone name that's on the book, you may not see their comment as I see it, but I'm gonna call out their name and tell you what they said. If you see any of your brother and sister coming in, go ahead and speak to them and welcome them to the dinner table. And if you have any question at the dinner table, my brother and sister, you can go ahead and dialogue with us. Put it down in the comment. If you have a question for me or any of the other brothers and sisters, you can go ahead and do it, or you could wait till the end after we finish our dinner. With that said, my brother and sister, we're about to get into tonight's topic at the dinner table. Go ahead and pick up your menu, and when you pick up your menu, you will look on the menu and see what's on our plate for tonight. What's on the plate for tonight is should you love the one that loved you or the one that you love? Now, let me back up again. Should you love the one that you love or the one that loves you? That's what I want to say. Should you love the one that love? Should you? I'm just getting so backward tonight. Should you love the one that you love? That's what I want to say. Or the one that loves you? That's what I want to say. Now, my brothers and sisters, since I got that out of the way, there are so many men and there are so many women that's running after other people that do not care nothing about them. These are you are other men and women, they running and running, running, running. And these people that they running after, they ignore them, they are hurting them, they don't care nothing about them at all. And I have a strong suspicion, a very strong suspicion, not only am I talking about other men and women? It's sad to say, but I got a strong suspicion that some of my brothers and sisters, you may be doing this. You may be running, sister, after a man that really doesn't care anything about you. And brother, you may be running after a woman that really doesn't care anything about you. So it's not only a worldly thing, this is affecting some of my brothers and sisters, which I hope that it really wouldn't, but it really does. So we're going to get this appetizer and then we're going to get into Should you love the one that you love or the one that loves you? When we go to God's word, it is written in the book of Samuel. That's 1 Samuel 16:7. Again, that 1 Samuel 16:7. Again, that 1 Samuel 16:7. It say, but the Lord said to Samuel, look not on his countenance or the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seek not as man seeth. For man look on the outward appearance, but the Lord look on the heart. I'm going to say that again. Those of you that are coming in, I'm going to say that again. In 1 Samuel, that's chapter 16:7, it said, but the Lord said to Samuel, and I'm going to give you a little background on this before we get it really into the meat of the topic. Look not on his countenance or the height of his stature, because I refuse him. For the Lord seeketh not the man as man seeketh. For man look on the outward appearance, but the Lord look on the heart. Now, what is this saying? Let me give you a little background. Israel had a king. The first king of Israel that's documented was Saul. God rejected Saul because Saul, he kept messing up and he kept violating what God told him not to do. He was a man that was doing it his way. Let me give you a little history on King Saul. According to the Bible said that King Saul was head and shoulder above basically the rest. And I'm paraphrasing. What does that mean, head and shoulder above the rest? That means that Samuel, the first king of Israel, he was a very attractive man. He was a very attractive man. Some of you sisters, y'all looking at Denzel Washington, you looking at Leonardo DiCaprio and all these kind of guys. But none of them, as far as appearance go, could touch King Saul, because he was head and shoulder above the rest. That's just how good looking this man was. King Saul was so good looking, he probably could steal your woman, brother, if they just go by their looks. But King Saul did some things that God did not like. So God rejected him. So what did God do? God sent Samuel the prophet to Jesse's house. And what Jesse I'm talking about? I'm talking about King David's father. King David, before he became a king, he was the youngest of Jesse's son. So God sent Samuel to Jesse's house to select the next king of Israel. So when Samuel went into Jesse's house, he started at the eldest son to the last son, but David wasn't around. So everyone that Samuel looked at, he thought that was going to be the king of Israel. But every time he thought that, God kept saying, I reject him. Then King Saul went to another one. God said, I reject him. All of Jesse's son, God kept saying, I reject him, I reject him, I reject him, I reject him. How you doing, Sister Cheryl and Sister Flo? Welcome to the dinner table. So when God is rejecting all of Samuel's sons, all of Jesse's sons, all of Jesse's sons, then Samuel asked Jesse, do you have any more sons? And he said, yeah, David, he's a rooted guy, he's a rooted fella, and he's out there tending the sheep. Samuel told Jesse to get David in. So when David came in, that's when. So, how you doing, Sister Michelle? That's right, it's your heart towards God. Welcome to the dinner table. So when David came in, God told Samuel, he's the one that I want. And this why it goes back to this phrase in 1 Samuel 16:7 said, but the Lord said to Samuel, and that's when David came into the house, okay? It said, look not on the countenance and height of his stature. So God was telling Samuel, don't go by what you see with your eyes, because I have refused him. He refused all of Jesse's song. But when he said David, when he seen David, said, "For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For men look on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." That is very vital, my brothers and sisters, when it comes to a relationship, sister, with a man, and brother, your relationship with a woman. Now, I know a lot of you all don't know my great-great-grandfather, but let me tell you about my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather was Eddie Lee Stewart. And he's not the originator of this statement that I'm about to say. He's not the originator, but he was going home. And this is one thing that my great-grandfather believed. This was one of his things. He used to say, love the one that loves you. Don't love the one that you love, but love the one that loves you. That was his saying. Don't love the one you love, but love the one that loves you. So what did he mean by this? I'm going to tell you what my great-grandfather meant by this. And a lot of you have heard this saying before. What my great-grandfather was saying is, most of the time, when you invest in a lot into a person, most of the time, you're running after that person. And the word narcissist was not back during that particular time. The word narcissist was not. So what my great-grandfather was saying, you are running after a narcissist, a man or a woman that on the doctrine of me, myself, and I. So what he was saying is, if you really get yourself carried away, brother, with a woman, or sister, if you really get yourself carried away with a man, the chances of that person returning your attention, the same attention that you're trying to put into him or her, you're not going to get it. And that's a reality, my brother and sister. I know some of you right now can attest to this. If you're honest with yourself, especially if you are up in age, it ain't nothing to be ashamed of. Sister Flo said, I done heard that before. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Some of you brothers and some of you sisters have ran after someone, but they really didn't give you the time of day. Now, I'm going to be the first one to say this, my brother and sister. Your brother Tony, he got caught in that trap before. Many years ago in my youth, my brothers and sisters. How you doing, Calm Sai Bible? Welcome to the dinner table. I hope I pronounced that right. Sister Flo said, I heard before, Lord, the one you are with. Yeah. Lord, the one you will do. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you something. There was this particular lady that I was running after. And I must say, that was this particular lady that I was running after. I thought that woman was the most beautiful, the most finest woman I ever seen in my life. But I was young and foolish during that time. And when I was running after this lady, it seemed like she would pick and choose when to give me time. That's what she was doing. She pick and choose when she was spending time. But you know what she was doing? All the time, my brother and sister, she was running after this other guy that really didn't care nothing about her. As a matter of fact, I knew this guy. I found out about this guy, and the guy, he let it be known he don't care nothing about her. So what he was doing, he was extracting whatever he can get out of her. And when she couldn't convince him to see things her way, that's when she wanted tuck her tail in and come to me. So my brother and sister, I know what it's like to be really into someone, and he or she, well, in my case, she was not into me. And that's what happens sometimes, my brothers. And that's what happens sometimes, my sister. Now, there's some of you. You have walked down that road before that I walked down. And it's sad to say this too. How you doing, Sister Renee? Sister Renee said, how old were you then? Sister Renee, I had to be about I was young and foolish. I called myself in love in the 8th grade. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going all the way back to the 8th grade. And then, you know what, Sister Renee? I almost got myself caught up when I became an adult running after a woman. And she wasn't putting that much effort in, Sister Renee. She wasn't putting that much effort. I was doing all the calling. I was doing all the pursuing. And something was telling me that she ain't putting no effort into it. She ain't doing nothing. The only thing she doing is, I guess, when she got bored or something like that. I'm not ashamed to tell you, my brother and sister, what's happening. It happened to a lot of men and women. Yeah, 8th grade, Sister Flo. I caught myself doing that. I was, and during that particular time, I was a one boy woman. But like I said, as I got older, I was about to set myself up for that too. But when I got older, my brothers and sisters, I started getting the mentality that it's too many women out there. It's too many women out there to be running after one. Because this is what I started thinking, my brother and sister. I say, and that was during the time when I was caught up in the appearance too. I got to tell you, I was caught up in the appearance and the shape and all that kind of stuff. So I kept saying, if you see one good looking woman and fine woman, there's somebody else that exceed her. So if I tried to conversate with a woman and I wasn't getting that vibe back from her, I just moved on. You know what I call that, Sister Flo? Know what I call that? I call that moving to plan B. I just moved to plan B. And when I moved to plan B, the one that I was trying to somewhat pursue or whatever, then I pulled back. And it never failed. It never failed. Those senoritas that would reach back out to me. And the roles got reversed. You see what I'm saying? Now, yeah, that's right, Sister Flo. Plan B. I went to plan B. And let me tell you then, my brothers and sisters, listen, if you're single, I always say date with purpose. Okay, I'm telling you to date with purpose. But brother and sister, never run after a member of the opposite sex. If you run after the member of the opposite sex, you're setting yourself up to be used. You're setting yourself up to be hurt. You're setting yourself up for nothing positive. You're not. And let me tell you something, my brothers and sisters. If you are pursuing a member of the opposite sex and they're not giving you the energy that you're putting into the relationship, the chances are very strong that he or she is in a relationship with someone else, that they're keeping on the down low, or they're running after someone. It never fails, my brother and sister. So if you're wondering why this man or woman is not engaging in you and giving you the same energy you want to give to him or her, don't do it, my brother and sister. Now, we're going to break this down into 2 sections, okay? We're going to talk about some of you men first, how you get blindsided, and then we're going to talk about how some of you women get blindsided, okay? Is that okay with you all? This is what happened. Let's talk to some of you men first, you brothers, you Christian brothers. Why are you running after a woman? Let me put that out there. Why are you running after a woman that doesn't care anything about you? Not only does it happen to worldly men, we're talking now to some of the brothers. Why are you running or pursuing a woman that does not care anything about you? There's some of you brothers that I'm talking to right now. You doing all the calling. You doing all the calling. She never called you. You doing all the texting. She never texts you. Or I put it this way. You doing all the calling and she barely calls you. You doing all the texting and she barely texts you. You doing all the initiation and she's not doing nothing. You ask this lady to go out to out on a date or whatever. So the folks say, I guess the man put his heart in that woman. Yes. And so the folks said, never run after me and sister. That's right. I'm gonna get to the sister shortly, Sister Flo. Let me tell you this. Brothers, if you find yourself, now I'm bringing it to some of your attentions, okay? If you find yourself running or pursuing after a woman, stop it tonight. Tonight is Thursday. Stop it tonight. You do not have to run after no woman. You know why? Because you are a son of God. God's sons don't supposed to run after women. What you're doing, brother, you're bringing yourself from up high and reducing yourself down low. Let me tell you some of you brothers, what some of you brothers doing too. You trying to buy love. That's what some of you brothers trying to do. You're trying to buy love. You know what the problem is? Some of you guys, you're visual. And it's true. Men are visual. So, brother, by you being visual, you see this pretty young tender thing, right? You see the young, as Bob Brown said, you see the young tenderoni. So you see the young tenderoni, and she look good and she fine, right? She looking good, she looking fine. And you are so caught up with how she looks. You so caught up in how this woman look. But there's another lady. She may not look that attractive. She might have 3 stomach times 10. She may have some cellulite in her thighs and everything. She might not look like no beauty queen. She might not be one of those that a lot of guys look at. But listen to this. But she have shown you that she's into you. Whenever you want to talk to her, she make time for you. Whenever you want to do anything, she's on it. You call her, she's calling you. She call you sometime without you calling her. She texting you sometime without you texting her. This other woman that you running after, you spending all your money on this lady. You taking her some places, you going outside of your budget. That's right, you going outside of your budget, taking to all these high-end restaurants and stuff. But the lady that really like you, you just want, you're not taking her to no high-end stuff. You'll take her somewhere else because in your mind you think she's okay, which she really is okay. Because you see, what you got to understand, my brother, the woman that really into you, all that stuff, that's not important to her because she like you for who you are, not for what you have. Now, the woman that you running after, brother, you are spending up a lot of things on it. And what really hurts some of you guys is when you trying to buy love. You can't buy love, brother. You can buy some lights, but you can't buy love. And let me go back to some of my club days. Sister Renee, I hope you listen to this. Let me go back to some of my club days. Let me tell you, when I used to club, and some of you have heard this before, when I was in the world heavily, when I used to club, there was this thing, and I know it still exists now. If you go into a club and you want to talk to a woman, the unwritten rule is buy her a drink to talk to her. That's the unwritten rule. Buy her a drink to talk to her. There are a lot of men that's still doing it right now. They are compelled to buy the woman a drink before she talk to them. On the contrary, I did not buy women drink just to talk to me. I would not do it. And there's this thing too, depending on what club you was at. They had some people sometimes that bring around flowers when they see a man talking to a lady. They'll say stuff like, "You want to buy the lady a flower or something?" I didn't buy no woman no flower just to talk to me. I was not going to buy no drink, and I was not going to buy no flower just for a woman to talk to me. However, when I was in my club days, the only way I would buy a woman a drink is if the conversation appeared to be going okay. She was not going to get a drink and shoo me away. I wasn't going to do that. If we talk, then if the conversation going okay, I might say, "Do you want a drink?" That's how a whole bunch of guys get messed up. Michelle said, "Don't buy a drink or anything to have a conversation." That's right, Michelle. Brothers, stop leading with your pockets. Don't you know, brother, a lot of women, I ain't talking about my Christian sister. Don't you know that a whole lot of women, they are getting a game plan when you start coming out your pocket. And this what's going to happen. You don't even know the woman well. You don't know her well, but then she's going to start asking you for quote unquote favors, right? Because she's so accustomed to doing that to other men. But the man that she running after, she ain't doing that to him. He's dogging her out. But you the one that her pastime. That's right, Sister Michelle. Parks a false sense of pride. So she calls you and start asking you to do little things for her. She called you and say, "Well, I'm getting my hair done. I mean, can you get my hair done for me? Can you get my nails done for me? Can you do this for me? Can you?" And let me tell you something, brother. They ain't no hard to say, "Will you loan me nothing?" They ain't no hard to say that. They'll say, "Will you do this for me?" And then some of you guys, you on a budget. You on a budget. You know your house note coming up, and you would get your house note money and pay her rent or whatever she need or what she say she need, and you do it. And you putting yourself behind. Some of you guys, have you ever noticed this? That the lady that you running after, the only time she contact you is when she quote unquote want or need something. That's the only time. And like a lot of time before that, when you call her something, it seemed like she have such a disengaging conversation, and she normally answer you with short verbiage, especially like some of you brothers. Yeah, you would send her like a text message on and say, "Hello, beautiful," or something like that, right? And you really mean it. You think you mean it, and then she might not respond back to you until late on that night. Or if she respond back to you, you done put the whole phrase out, "Good morning, beautiful." And you know what she send you back? GM. Good, and that means good morning. You call her, you have to carry the conversation. She not even engaged in the conversation. And you notice this too, don't you, brother? Every time her phone beep, she said, "Hold on." And when she said, "Hold on," you staying on the phone for 30 minutes, waiting for her to come back. Then she'll come back and say, "Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry." I'm telling some true what I have heard, my sisters and brothers. I'm telling you how some women, those women that you run after, do you brothers. They do you all real good. And you know this too, some of you brothers. And some of you do this. Like she might say, I'm going on a girl trip, right? I'm going on a girl trip. Don't you want to phone me on my girl trip? You giving her money. You don't even know what she's doing with that money. She may be buying tickets and stuff for her and her other guy, Rico. She gets some tickets and stuff for Rico. And let me tell you this too, brothers. Some of you brothers, I have heard this before, and I'm gonna tell you what's going on. Some of you guys, you take these women to a high-end restaurant, right? And then they want to get a to-go plate. Some of you have heard me say this before. You get a to-go plate, right? She gets a to-go plate. And you buy the to-go plate. Have you ever noticed this, brother? When you be at a restaurant, she take out her cell phone, right? And you know, before she took out the cell phone, she just looking around, she was not engaged with you, and she just communicating. She just while she on her cell phone, right? And then you notice a big smile come on her face, right? That's old boy. That's old boy. That's Rico. And Rico asking her what you don't see, what you up to. And you know what she gonna do to Rico? Nothing. I'm just hanging out with some friends. She gonna make it plural. She not gonna say I'm hanging out with a friend. She ain't gonna do that. She gonna say I'm hanging out with some friend. And then she'll be texting him, I'm at this restaurant. Do you want anything? And then Rico say, where you at? And she texts him back where she at Ruth Chris or something, right? And then she'll take a picture of it. You don't see her taking a picture, then she might take a picture of it. If you have enough sense, you'll see what she's doing. She'll take a picture of the menu and she sent it to Rico, and Rico said, that look good. And then she'll text him back and say, what do you want? And then Rico tell her what he wants. And then she'll get you to buy it, because she'll say something like, I want a carrot plate. You know what? Then y'all, the date is over. You take her home, right? You take her home and you think you're going in for a nightcap. And I'm not talking about you going in for no sex. You're going in for a nightcap because you don't want the night to be over right then. Then she act like she's so tired. She's so tired. And she tell you, thank you for taking me out. But I got so much to do tomorrow, and it's a Friday night, and you know she ain't got to work or nothing. Then you say something like, well, I don't want the night to end. You mind coming? I'm somewhat tired, but we could do this another time. And then she kiss you on your forehead, right? Or she don't kiss you on the forehead, she'll pat you on the head. Good boy, good boy. Or she might not even let you kiss on the lip. If she do kiss you on the lip, this is what she gonna do. Cause she's saving all her. She been listening to Whitney Houston songs, saving all my love for you. How you doing, Sister Jane? Jane said she's trying to use somebody, and Rico used her at the same time. Amen, Sister Jane. So when you pull out, brother, you said, well, when I get home, she don't even say when you get home, let me know that you got there. You're gonna say, when I get home, I'll let you know. So when you get home, something's still going on in your mind. Why this ain't going nowhere? Then you call her, it goes straight to her voicemail. You text her, she don't respond to you right then. She might respond to you later on, early in the morning when Rico leave. So let me tell you what's going on. When you pulled off, brother, Rico was pulling in. That's right. You bought Rico dinner. So Rico go in, she warm up the plate for Rico. Then she go put on her Victoria's Secret stuff for Rico. That happens, brother. And then Rico take her to the bourgeois, do what he gonna do, and he make her some kind of lie so he can get up and leave to go to his other woman or women. That's what some of you guys are fond in, that type of woman. But yet, The woman that been showing you kindness and attention and affection, you don't want her. She there for you. You know, when you gave your money, you know, when you paid that other woman's house note and you came up on the short end, you know, Nene gave you some money to help you pay your rent. Nene came and filled some stuff up for you. Nene was that. Nene is the one that asked you to come over to my house. Have you eaten anything? Why don't you come over to my house and I got some dinner for you? Nene is the person that you doing wrong. You ain't in a relationship with Nene, but you can't see what type of woman Nene is. Nene do all kinds of stuff for you. You know why? Because Nene really like who you are, brother. It's not about what you have, it's who you are. She might not be as glamorous as that Barbie that you're running after. And guess what happened? Some guys see it, some don't. A small majority start seeing it. Some start saying, okay, Nene, she okay. And then you start growing in love with Nene. And when your attention starts shifting on Nene, that Barbie, she's gonna be wondering why you ain't calling her that much, why you ain't texting her that much, why you ain't taking her out to those 5-star restaurant. That's because Nene is the one that God wants you to be with. God chose Nene for you, but you couldn't see it. But then what caused you to see it? Because you start getting hurt, you start getting abused, misused, and you start getting tired of it. But Nene was there to pick up the pieces. And then when you get serious about Nene, when you start then you commit to Nene and then you get married to it, that's when Barbie going to try to reach back out to you. You know what Barbie gonna do? She gonna find out that you with Nene. She going to look at Nene and say, look at how she look. He got that. He wanted her over me. But what Barbie do not understand is that it ain't all about appearance. That's because, brother, you start seeing Nene for who she is on the inside. Going back to that scripture in 1 Samuel 16:7, you start looking at a woman from God's point of view, because the Lord said, for the Lord see it not as men. For men look on the outward appearance, but the Lord look on the heart. So the Lord allowed you to see Nene for who she is. She was the one. She might not be the Barbie, but she was the one. So you start understanding, brother, from the Lord's point of view, it's not about the appearance. Because you see, the appearance, brother, it's going to fade away in time. Nene is a Proverb 31 woman that God sent your way. Now, to you ladies. Now, let's talk to some of you ladies that running after a man. You run after this man. You run after him. You run after him. You keep reaching out to him. Let's go back to the texts and call. You in the morning time. You saying, hello, sweetie. How you doing? Hope you have a good day. And he looking at your text. He ain't saying nothing. Then he catch you around lunchtime and type something back and say, oh, I just noticed you just text me. Then he might say, what's up? His verbiage with you on the text is not going to be that extensive. Just kind of like the Barbie does a man that running after her, but not sister, you running after this man. He really don't bother you until he wants something. Listen to what I say, until he wants something. 12 o'clock, 8 a.m., he reach out to you and say, what you doing? Or he'll send a text, WYD, what you doing? You mind if I swing through? Are your children asleep? And you already asleep, but you see him calling you and you act like you're not asleep. So you jump up, you take a wash off and whatever, because you know why he's coming over there. He's not coming over to your house at 12 a.m. in the morning to look at TV. He could do that at his house. You know why he's coming over there. So when you get over there, you know what it's time for, right? He will lie to you while he got you on your back. He's going to be telling you stuff that I love you. What he really loves is not you. He loves the fact of how he's feeling physically while you're on your back. You the one that he not gonna hardly take around his family or friend. You the one that he not gonna take nowhere. You the one, if he take you somewhere, you going through the drive-through window. In the door. You the one that if he does take you somewhere, he don't want nobody to see you. You the one that he hides. You the one that he tell you that he going to this event and stuff like that. He never invites you nowhere, especially in public. He's not going to do it. If he invites you somewhere, he wants you to meet him there, so it could seem like y'all just bumped up together. The only time he touch you is when it comes time for that physical touch, the minus touch. That's the only time he want to touch you, when it comes to the minus touch. And then there's this other guy, Freddie the Frog. Freddie don't look that good, but he's a prince on the inside. Freddie is there at all the time. When your car go down, Freddie gonna find a mechanic to help you get your car done. When you need anything, Freddie is always calling you. Freddie always saying, if you need anything, let me know. Freddie is there for all your emergencies. He's there for everything when you need him. But Freddie is the fraud. He doesn't look that good. But now you looking at Dash. You love Dash because Dash is the bad boy. Dash is called the ladies' man. And you want Dash. You know why you want Dash? You want Dash because he's popular. You want Dash because he got a power position. You want Dash because of his position. I mean, he got power. He got a great position in life, and he has assets. And you running after Dash. What you don't understand why you running after Dash is that's Dash stuff. It's not yours. And you know what? Dash is running after someone. That's why Dash, and you're not no arm piece. Dash look at you. Dash cannot see walking down the red carpet with you. You're not going to walk down the red carpet with Dash. He's not going to do it. You wonder why Dash won't take you to a movie. Thank you, Sister Renee. You wonder why Dash won't take you to the movie. You wonder if Dash does take you somewhere to a restaurant, he take you to KFC. He take you to McDonald's. He take you to Burger King. Late when a whole bunch of people won't be there. He take you to one of those establishments way out where he won't see none of his people, his family, or his friends. You don't know nothing about Dash or family. He know a lot about your family. You know why Dash know a lot about his family? Because you let Dash come onto your house. You let Dash come in front of your children. You would take Dash in your bedroom while your children are up. You would have your children calling Dash Uncle Dash. You try to get everything together when Dash coming over there, when your children up, right? Let me tell you about your little children. Your little children got sense. When you and Dash go into your bedroom, your children, they come and put their ears to the door and listen to what you're going. You see, some women think they children are slow. Children have a lot of sense. They hear you doing all that noise in there with Dash. And then they hear Dash, the bass and Dash voice when he about to, you know what, erupt. That's when they hear his voice. But they hear your voice over everything. Then you try to tell your children to do the right thing. You try to tell your daughter to do the right thing, but your children looking at how you dealing with Dash. But you want to give you want to give your daughters how to behave with men. But look at your example. What you teaching your daughter is let a man use you. But little Freddie the Frog, he want to make time for you. He want to make time for your children. He want to take you and your children to Disney World. He want to take you and your children to Dubai and all that kind of stuff. Is Dash going to do that for you? No, he's not. But little Freddie, the frog, that you don't like, that's the man that's into you. But you keep running after Dash. Then it's what you're going to find out. You're going to find out it's going to be something on social media, right? Something on social media going to happen. You know what? On social media, you find out that Dash is engaged to Gwen. And you can't believe it because Dash was telling you he loved you while he had you on your back. And you thought you was in love. But you told your family member, you told your friends about Dash. They probably even met Dash, but have you met Dash family? Have you met Dash friends? He don't even tell you about it. You might not even know where Dash live. He know where you live. You've been dealing with Dash for years and years. You never been to where he live at. You better know where he work if he work. You buy Dash cologne and everything. He put that cologne on for that other woman, for Gwen. But you don't want little Freddie, do you? Because Freddie don't look attractive. Then one day, maybe, and this happens a small percent of the time, when you get finished running after Dash, Dash will use you up. Or not only Dash, you could have been through other men. And when you've been through other men, you tell Freddie the Frog about it. And Freddie act like he's a tenant, but don't you know that be hurting Freddie? You know why they hurting Freddie? Because Freddie care for you. You think Freddie really want to hear you talk about these other men and how wrong these men do to doing you? And Freddie be saying, you a good woman, they shouldn't be doing you like that. Freddie been there for you. But then a light goes off one day, and then you start saying, Freddie treat me so nice. He very attentive. He want to do things for me. He's not afraid to take me out in public. Freddie ain't about just want to put me on my back. Freddie don't mind having Nick, Flick, and chill. Freddie always think about my birthday. Dash don't think about my birthday until I bring it up, and he still put on the text thing, happy birthday. HBD. That's it. Freddie does everything for you. You remember on Valentine's Day, you thought Dash was going to take you somewhere? Dash didn't take you nowhere. He was taking Gwen to the restaurant. He went to the jewelry store for Gwen. He went to the flora for Gwen. He was doing all this stuff for Gwen. And then at the nighttime, when everything is over with, then he want to come by and see you and ask you how your day was. He probably lied to you and told you he was going to do something for you, but he never called you nothing. But Freddie, Lil Freddie the Frog, he asked you to go out. And you know what you told Freddie? Let me get back with you. Let me get back with you. And you hurt Freddie. You didn't know it. He didn't say nothing, but you hurt Freddie. Michelle said, don't forget, you can be the arm people. That's all you are to him. He will put you on the shelf till it's time to pull you out. A man that truly loves you will have a heart towards God and show you off to anyone relationship. That's right. That's right, Sister Michelle. So what am I saying, brothers? What am I saying, sister? A lot of you brothers, you're running after these women for superficial reasons. A lot of you sisters, you're running after a lot of these men for superficial reasons. Brother and sister, you need to get beyond how a man or woman look on the outside. What a man or woman has. I can understand you want someone that's attractive. That's understandable, but that's superficial. Because how a man or woman look on the outside is going to fade away in time. You got to understand that. They may have that 6 packs and all that stuff now, but as time go by, I don't care how many times they go to the gym, it's going to fade in time. You're going to start seeing changes. They can't keep it up all the time. Eventually, their body's going to change. I'm telling you. Whatever those assets that they got, don't you know, my brother and sister, a lot of men and women, they be living paycheck to paycheck. They one check away from poverty. But you like that stuff. It could be taken from them just like that. But you like their stuff superficial. What about the man and the woman in the heart? That's what you brother and sister need to understand. It's about what's in the heart. So the question is, should you love the one that you love or the one that loves you? Brother and sister, the person that God brings to you is the person that you should love. When God brings the person to you, that's the person you should love. That's the answer to the question. Now, how do you know? Because God going to bring the right person to you, not the wrong person. He never does that. When God bring a person to you, my brother and sister, I always tell you all this. You need to understand the love language. The love language, you're going to hear him and her talk. They're going to be saying stuff like, we, us, and our. You're going to hear that. That's love language for a man or woman that wants to do something with you. We, us, and our. Sister Michelle said, when God bring the person, that's the one. That's amen, Sister Michelle. If it's somebody that you always hear saying, me, I, all that. Me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. That's not the person for you. You understand? You got to listen. You got 2 ears and you got 1 mouth. You have to listen, my brothers and sisters. You have to listen. God going to bring you the right individual into your life. Not the wrong. You know why? Because God look at the heart. Don't you know, my brother and sister, there's no such thing as falling in love. It doesn't exist. You grow in love. How do you grow in love? It's just like planting a seed, brother and sister. You have to plant. That's right, sister, for the Lord, the person God bring to you. You have to plant the seed. You understand? Plant the seed. Brother, sister, you have to make an effort. That man and woman got to make the effort. You got to plant the seed, or if you in a cold house, if you're in a cabin in the mountains, you got to put logs in the fire. If you don't put logs in the fire, you're not gonna get no heat. If you don't plant that apple seed, you're not gonna get an apple tree. You got to put something in. If you plant the seed, the Lord gonna cause it to grow. You understand? The Lord gonna cause it to grow. If you put logs in the fire, the Lord is gonna be your heat. But you got to do the work. The Lord ain't just gonna do stuff for you. You got to put in the work too. He will enable you, brother. He will enable you, sister, to understand what love is. The greatest love, my brother and sister, if a man lay down his life for his friend, is that man your best friend? Is that woman your best friend? You got to understand it, my brother and sister. Let me tell you this. If you ever been rejected, now put yourself in a position, my brother and sister, for being rejected. If you have been rejected, you're not the first person to have been rejected. Don't you, brother and sister, know? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a scripture. There is one person that understands rejection. When we go to Isaiah 53:3, that's Isaiah 53:3. Isaiah 53:3. It said, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrow and acquainted with grief. And we hid as if it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Let me read that again from Isaiah 53:3. You may know who I'm talking about. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our face from him. He was despised and we esteemed him not. We didn't build him up. Do you know who I'm talking about? I'm talking about Jesus himself. Jesus knows what it's like to be rejected. Jesus knows what it's like to be experience sorrow. Jesus knows what grief is like. Jesus knows when you don't want to be bothered with him. So, brother and sister, if you have been rejected, Jesus understands that. You aren't the first person that have been rejected, brother or sister. You won't be the last. Because Jesus is always there for you, my brother and sister. Before a man, sister, or before a woman, brother, Jesus is there for you. Some of you brothers, you don't want nothing to do with no woman no more because you went about trying to get a woman your way. Some of you sisters, you don't want to be involved with no man no more because you went to try to get a man your way. You brothers, you did not go to God for counsel. You didn't pray for God to call you to find a woman. Some of you sisters, you did not pray to God to call for a man to find you. You did it your way. And that's what happened a lot of time, my brother and sister. Like I always say, my brother and sister, let God do the picking for you. Before the dating site, that was God. Before eHarmony, there was God. Before black people meet, there was God. Before country meet, there was God. Before Christian mingle, there was God. God knows how to bring the right man and the woman together. If you want to be matched up, you ain't got to wait for your friends to hook you up. You see, the thing about your friends or family trying to hook you up, in their minds, they looking at certain things, and in their mind, they thinking that you're a match, but not necessarily so. because the Lord looks at the heart. The person that they're trying to cause you to hook up with, they don't know everything about that person. They know some things about it, that man. They know some things about that woman. But God knows all things because God looks at the heart, my brother. He looks at the heart, my sister. So when it comes to should you love the one that loves you or the one that you love, love the one. I mean, should you love the one that you love or that loves you? Love the one that loves you. Because see, the one that loves you, that really loves you, God put that person there. You just got to open your eyes. When I say your eyes, I'm not talking about your physical eyes. I'm talking about your spiritual eyes. You got to be able to ask God to show me this man, sister. Brother, you got to ask God to show me this woman. Sister Ingrid said, what is the difference between a man asking God how to love you and a man just saying he loves you? Sister Ingrid, that's a good question. Let me give you an answer. No man know how to love a woman. It's not in man to know how to love a woman. There's not one man that know how to love a woman. Any relationship coach that teaches men how to love a woman, if you don't hear them talking about God, they don't know what they're talking about. They're going by worldly things. And most of the time they be talking about how to trick a woman or deceive a woman. They would say stuff like, buy her some flowers. And ain't nothing wrong with flowers, but time you cut those flowers from the root, the flower is dead. You understand? Bro, do you understand? It ain't nothing wrong with sending a woman flowers. But you need to understand this too, sister. Once that flower get cut from the root, it's dead. It just look good. It smell good, but it's dead. And it's going to live for a while, but it doesn't have the root. That's the thing about it. It doesn't have the root. And speaking of that, my brother and sister, this is how a human is. You have to look at a human like a rose. What do I mean by that? The rose look good and it smell good, but what comes with the rose? The rose, it has a stem, and out of that stem, it has thorns. And you have to watch how you pick that rose up because they have thorns. That's how a man and woman is. They could look good, they could smell good, but they also have some sharp points in them that you have to be careful with. You understand, brother? You understand, sister? Love the man, sister, that loves you. Let me tell you this, sister. It's important that a man can provide. It's important that a man can protect. It's important that a man could lead. All those things are important. What's more important is if that man have a relationship with the Lord before you. What's more important is that man will love the Lord before he loves you. Now, the stuff outside of what's on the inside of man is nothing wrong if the Lord bless the man with stuff. But you got to look past the stuff and look at the man. And some of you brothers, you have to look at some things about the woman. You got to look past how she looked today and how banging her body looked today. You got to look past that because it's gonna go away in time. It's going to go away in time. So it's more important, brother, what's on the inside of one. And let me make this point. There are some men. You would be with Betty Boo. Betty Boo is a good woman. She's a good woman. But you see a woman out there in the streets and she look hot. You seen her on social media. She twerking and everything. You looking at her, she's showing all her breasts. You looking at her, she got this tight outfit on, showing everything she got. She take pictures of her rear end all the time, right? She doing all she even smoking this thing. What you call it? You all know what I'm talking about. And some of these women, they think it's so cool. They smoking the thing out of a pipe. And you all see it on social media. It ain't nothing not beautiful about that. They doing all that. And some of you brothers, you will leave Betty Boo to go get that Barbie. You go get her, and she very snobbish. She all about me, 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 me. You leave Betty Boo for this woman. When you leave Betty Boo for this woman, you start getting an attitude, and you start telling Betty Boo what she ain't got, what she can't do and stuff. You break her. You don't care how you talk to Betty. You break her and everything. Then you jump off and go with the other woman. Time come around, something happened to you. You can't take care of yourself. Barbie, she don't want nothing to do with you. Then the only thing you think about is who can help me? Who can I run to? Like Escape. You all remember that song by Escape a while back? Who can I run to? That's what you're going to be thinking about. Who can I run to? Then you're going to be thinking about Betty Boo. And it's amazing sometimes. Some of these sisters, they take you back. Even though you left them for Barbie, they take you back. And that's what happened a lot of times. How you doing, A1K? They take you back. Where was Barbie? You all remember the movie called A Diary of a Black Man, right? You all remember that movie, right? That one of Tyler Perry movie, right? You remember the main characters in the movie, right? You remember the attorney, and he turned his back on that woman that was with him all the time, and he went and got with Barbie, and they had some children, and he dogged Barbie out. And when he got shot, he couldn't take care of himself, right? Who took care of him? We talk about Charles. You all remember Charles, right? His wife took care of Charles. The little pretty woman, she left with the money and everything. That's how they do it, brothers. So stick with Betty. Some of you sisters, you got a hard-working man, but you see this other man, and he seemed like he's GQ. He got everything going. He got more money than your man. He may look better than your man. He may have a six-pack. Your husband don't. Your husband's stomach is down to his knees. But he loves you. But this other man, you so into him, you start getting a little cocky, and you go with that man. Then when that man dog you out, when he put you on your back, and that's all he want from you, then he start beating on you and all that kind of stuff. Now you want to go back to that hard-working man. And sometimes they take you back, but that's small and in between. Let me tell you something, my brother and sister. If the Lord place you with a person, he bringing a person to you, that heart is there for you, not what you have. Don't be a fool and jump in the streets. Brother and sister, there's nothing in the streets for you. It look exciting, but it's nothing in the streets. Let me tell you something, my brother and sister. Most of the men and women that be in the streets, they're not happy. That's why they go in the street. Most of the people that you see clubbing all the time, they're not happy. They're looking for happiness. They're looking for a drink, and they say they go there to relax. They're looking for a drink, and they're looking for a hookup. Don't ever let nobody think that you see in the club a lot. They're looking for a hookup, and they're looking for a drink. They're looking for a good time. And then when they get in their car and go home, they're not happy. And they do the same thing over and over again. And if they are in a relationship, they in a relationship that's on fumes. It like a car can run out of gas, but it can run a little while with fume. That's the type of relationship they probably in. If you got a good man and if you got a good woman, you would rather be at home with them than to be in the streets with your boys and your girls. Most men that hang with men's in the street, they ain't got no good woman. Because they got a good woman, they'll be at home with their woman. And nothing wrong with, nothing wrong with hanging with your boys sometimes. Let me tell you this. Another thing, if you see a woman with a group of women all the time, if she had a good man, she would tell those men, like Jill Scott said on one of her songs, I see you all some other time. You all remember that song, that Jill Scott song from years ago? Her girls, they was telling her that they were finna go somewhere, and Jill Scott said, I'll catch you all some other time. Or that lady named Shantae. You all remember Shantae Moore? She had a song out that by her man coming where she at. She bragged to her friend. You see, my brother and sister, if you have a good woman and a good man, let me tell you about your friend. They're gonna act like they happy for you, but if they in a messed up relationship or they're not in a relationship, they really ain't happy for you. As a matter of fact, they want you to be miserable like them. So you got to be careful with the company you keep. You got to be very careful. And let me tell you another thing too, my brother and sister. Listen to this. A lot of men and a lot of women that I like to be alone. I like to be alone. Those are some of the most unhappiest people in the world. Because you see, you know why? Because God did not create a man and woman to be alone. You go all the way back to Genesis. God said it's not good for man to be alone. So I'm gonna tell you something, my brother and sister. Listen to your friends. Listen to them, and you're gonna start believing them. If you hear a man say, I don't want no woman, I don't need no woman, but yet they want to sleep with a woman, right? But they don't need no woman, but they want to sleep with them, right? Or sister, if you hear your girlfriend say, I don't need a man, I don't need, but yet they go on dates with men, right? They lying. They lying to themselves and they lying to you. I'm gonna tell you this, brother. If men tell you they are, women ain't no good, but yet they spend time with a woman or two, they lying. Listen to their words and watch their actions. Some of you sisters, when a woman say, I'm a strong woman, I'm a strong, independent woman. What do independent mean? That means you 4th of July, you stand on your own. And then they tell you they're going on a date with someone. They are liars. Put them on the scale. Like I tell you, brother and sister, all the time. When a man and woman talk, visualize them as a scale. Just visualize them as a scale. And those balances. See, do their words and their action match up. Let me tell you something too, my brother and sister. When it seems like a lot of time when you see a man and woman on social media, they pretend that they're happy. They may go to exotic places and all that kind of stuff, and they like to show a lot of pictures and stuff. Majority of the time, those people aren't happy. They fronting. Don't envy what they doing. Don't envy. Don't be saying, "Ooh, I wish I could do that." Don't envy them, especially in a relationship, because if you got a good man, a good woman, if you all just go to the next city, if you all just go to a city next to your city, or you're going to picnic, you're going to find more happiness there than them fronting. So I'm telling you, my brother and sister, don't get, that's right, A1K, blessed, beloved, Betty Boo. All right. So let me tell you, my brother and sister, don't envy people, because most of them, they are liars. They are liars, and they put the lie in your face, and they make it seem like they're happy. They're not happy. Because if they're not happy, they wouldn't be trying to get all this attention. Because, like, when you look at social media, my brother and sister, when you look at social media, most of the time, a lot of people, they be about me, myself, and I. Let me tell you this. Because when they showing you stuff, they're not trying to help you do nothing. They want compliments. That not only women, this men, they want compliments. Some of the women want you to tell them you look good and all that kind of stuff. That's why they put it there. They looking for attention. These men, the same thing. Brother, you got it going on and stuff like that. When you got stuff going on, you don't have to tell the world. The world going to find out about it. Because it's a blessing. You ain't got to go around talk about your blessing that God made you. You ain't got to do all of that kind of stuff. My brother and sister, if you have a question or a comment now, you could put the word wait in the comment section and I will wait. And I will address it. Or if you have something to say to other brothers and sisters, we will wait for you, okay? In the meantime, if you don't want to put the word wait and you don't have no question or comment, I would like to thank you for being at the dinner table, okay? Because you could have really been doing something else, but I am very grateful that you came to the dinner table. I love you, brothers, and I love you, sisters. You can get some of this good soul food and take it and share it with other family members and some of your friends. And as a matter of fact, sometimes you ought to invite some of your family and friends, extended family and friends, to the dinner table so they could get some of this soul food. Because I never run out of good soul food. I never do. And we always have room here for more people. We are not the ones that want to keep people out. We want people to come in and be a part of our family. You know that, my brothers? You know that, my sister? Again, you all have a good night. I love you. I love you. I love you. Take this care out with you. I clean up the kitchen. Peace out.